Drive Time Sports here on XTRA Sports 1300. Ryan Kaufman with you with some guests in studio. The Wheelchair Basketball World Championship takes place in Hamburg, Germany, August 16th through the 26th. And the U.S. has been training here in Colorado Springs at the OTC in an attempt to win their first gold medal in the event since 2002. Joining us now in studio are a couple of the guys representing our country coming up in a couple weeks. Matt Scott, a 2016 Paralympic gold medalist, and also one of the newer members of the team. Not necessarily a rookie, but John Boie joining us in studio as well. Fellas, how are you?
Doing great, man. Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. So, as I was talked about in the open there, you guys are going for your first gold medal in this competition since 2002.
That's right.
But you guys won 2 years ago in Rio. So going in, would you say, Matt, that you guys are the favorites, or do you give the nod to Australia, who won last time around?
So we're going to go into it with the underdog mentality. We're not going in there too overconfident, and we know how to how to handle ourselves as the favorite. But I do think that it's abundantly clear to the rest of the world that we're the number one team going into it because of our success in Rio.
Right, and just not just from the perspective of how you guys are viewed differently throughout the world, but just you personally to go to Rio and to win that gold medal. How have things changed in the last couple years since then? I
will definitely say that our confidence has risen after our performance in Rio. We feel really, really good about what we can do on the floor, both offensively and defensively. We have one of the fastest teams in the world. We have one of the best shooting teams in the world, and we feel good about what we can do. And I think that success in Rio really helped us understand where we were in terms of where the competitive peak is. We know where we are right now.
Well, John, I want to talk to you a little bit because obviously you're kind of the newer guy in town. So you ended up making the team last year. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep. So
to go into a situation where these guys, many of your teammates are gold medalists, they are one of the most well-respected teams in the world. I got to imagine that's kind of a fun situation to be placed in.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to come out and compete against these guys every day. Training against the best players in the world is making me also kind of get up to that caliber. So it's good to kind of go out there and have these guys as mentors and kind of play against them every day.
And tell us a little bit about your how did you get into first wheelchair basketball as a whole, but then how'd you get linked up with the U.S. program?
Yeah, so I actually grew up near a school called University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, which is where Matt and I both ended up going to college.
Right on.
It's kind of considered as the Duke or the Kentucky of the wheelchair basketball world for college. So that's kind of where a lot of guys go. International players come over there and play in college as well. So if you want to be some of the best, that's where you go if you want to go on from there. So that kind of springboarded me onto the U.S. platform.
Very cool. And it was playing basketball at this level something that's always been a goal for you?
Yeah, the Paralympic Games has been my goal since I started playing wheelchair basketball.
Very cool. And Matt, back over to you here. So we have John, who's kind of one of the newer guys. You're the grizzled veteran. I really enjoyed The Undefeated did a piece on you back in 2016, and I don't know if that's where the moniker came from, but Steph Curry of wheelchair basketball? Just tell me that's not a self gloss. As long as it's not self gloss, I'm good.
That's absolutely not self gloss. That's absolutely not self gloss. You know what? There was a game. I played in Italy 2 years ago,
okay.
And we were playing against one of the best teams there. It was an undefeated team, and they hadn't lost in 2 years in their home stadium. And I had a pretty good shooting day that day. There was a video that was floating around. It went viral. I think I went 8 for 9 for 3 in the second half, and just sort of lit it up. that video started floating around. A lot of people saw it, and they were pretty impressed by it, and they kind of deemed the Steph Curry wheelchair basketball after that, just from seeing that video.
In a game of horse, you or Steph, who do I put my money on?
Oh, there's going to be no doubt about it. Steph's going down.
That's what I like to hear.
There's going to be no doubt about it.
Matt Scott and John Boie joining us in studio. They're representing the United States at the Wheelchair Basketball World Championships in Germany in just a couple of weeks. We just came off having the Warrior Games here at the Air Force Academy, and that was a chance for a lot of people in Colorado Springs and the Front Range to kind of get an up-close and personal look at your sport and how it's different than the basketball that they grew up on. One thing when I was doing this show out there all week and I would have listeners come up to me, one of the biggest things that they would talk about is the physicality in this game. I mean, you have the NBA where guys flop all the time and they scream bloody murder when they go down the lane, and you guys are just crashing into each other and just wrecking each other. Is that... I got to imagine you can't be lighthearted to be in this sport. Do you guys embrace the physicality of wheelchair basketball?
Absolutely, and we're very, very proud of the physicality that it takes to play this game. Mm-hmm. I think that in order to be an elite wheelchair basketball player, you're going to have to take some bumps and bruises. I mean, we get out there and, you mentioned the Warrior Games. I was fortunate enough to be there and watching those guys go at it. And as you said, they really demonstrated what it takes to be a wheelchair basketball player. They did a great job of highlighting that. At the Paralympic level, oh man, there's a lot of physicality, a lot of bumping around. But I always tell people that we see welders way more than we see doctors. So the chair is always taking the brunt of the crashes and things like that. So
I guess that's good news. A few bucks out of your pocket, I suppose, but nothing more than that. John, back over to you here. We're joined by Matt Scott and John Boie. They're members of the United States wheelchair basketball team that's going over to Germany in just a couple weeks to try and win a World's Championship. Obviously, both you guys have, been dealt a tough hand. And what is remarkable when I speak to athletes such as yourselves and at the Warrior Games and other Paralympic athletes is that it doesn't even faze you. I'm sure there were private times early on in your lives where maybe you faced some hardships, but I think you guys, and maybe you guys probably understand this, but to us and to people who watch you guys are inspirations, man. And the way that you are able to not only deal with what life has given you, but excel. I mean, a lot of people would cap their goals, cap their dreams because of something like this, but you guys don't. I mean, where does that, for you, John, where does that drive that mentality like, this is nothing, I'm still going to accomplish what I want to accomplish? Where's that come from?
I look at a lot of different people. I think me and Matt, we have diversity that's a little bit more visible to everyone. Mm-hmm. But everybody kind of has their own thing that they have to deal with, right? So whether it's struggling with something personal, family issues, for us it's a disability. It's just kind of something else that we deal with, and just go from there.
Right on. Fantastic perspective on that. So being able to train at the Olympic Training Center, it's whenever I, as a media member, get to go into the OTC, I'm blown away by the facilities, the level of athlete that comes in there to be able to train there. And how long have you guys been trained there, John?
I've been here for about 4 weeks. I think Matt's been here a little bit longer.
Yeah. So what is it like? Matt's got permanent residency in the OTC. He's got mail being forwarded there. But what is that like to be able to train and compete where Michael Phelps and all these other great athletes are able to train? What is that like for you guys?
At first it's really surreal to kind of think of the other people that have walked through those doors and use the same facilities that we have. But it's really a blessing to go, throughout the entire campus of the OTC and be able to use, sports medicine and the Ted Stevens Training Center, Sports Center 2, all the different resources we have available to us. is incredible and what helps makes us so successful.
And we know, obviously, with the Steph Curry moniker, what Matt's strength is. What do you pride yourself in when you're out there on the court? What do you do?
You know what? I kind of look at myself as like an offensive lineman in football, right? You know, you don't hear those big names a lot, but my goal is to try to help get guys like Matt or some of my other teammates those open shots and get them the good looks.
He's being humble, man. He's being humble. John's a star, man. You can see it every time that we get on the court. He's just getting better and better. We have a really, really talented team, and we're happy to have him on it. But he's just being humble, man. He's a stud, and we all know it.
So obviously, now that we've had you guys on, we want to catch you guys over in Germany, and maybe you guys are focused on playing. Maybe this is a question not for you guys, but how are we going to be able to watch you guys or follow you guys?
So I'm quite sure that the organizers of the tournament are going to have it live streamed. So there's going to be there'll be links. The NWBA will be broadcasting it. So if you check out the National Wheelchair Basketball Association, the website, the Facebook, the Instagram, let's give us some support on that. And we'd love to have people watching, and as we try to bring home something shiny. Yeah,
we'll definitely be doing that. John, but since Matt's already tasted this feeling of winning a gold medal, have you, when you go to sleep at night, have you kind of started to let yourself think about what it would be like to have a gold medal placed around your neck?
It's something I thought about, kind of early, but the more time that I spent here and with all these guys, I'm really focused on just kind of doing my part and kind of focusing on the game out there.
Yeah, spoken like a true athlete. You guys are one play at a time, 1 minute at a time. Can't get anything out of you guys. I know we can follow Matt on Twitter at @MattScott_fly. What about you, John? Are you a tweeter?
I'm not a tweeter. I'm more of an Instagram guy.
Okay, so where can we find you on Insta?
Good night, John Boie.
Good night, John Boie, and that's BOIE. Correct.
Yep.
Okay. There you go. Matt and John, thank you so much for making the trip over here.